What's going on, everyone? Dustin Zana with Creating the Difference. We're here with another PBA video today. Different, actually, kind of format. So let us know what you think of this type of format. We're actually going to watch the final match of the 2023 PBA World Championship and, kind of walk through some of the things that are going on and why this is possibly one of the best matches the PBA has ever seen. To think of the situation and what these guys had to go through in this final match is something that is absolutely incredible. So let's go ahead and start it up. Tackett versus Jason Belmonte, going for the PBA World Championship.
Tackett, the number one of starting lane, going with Venom Shock to lead things off in the title match.
EJ's been throwing the shock a lot. And looked a little, to me, just a little bit tight. A little bit tight on the launch angle.
Looking for number 5.
Or maybe a little too far left. Down lane if he's going to play that far left in the front part of the lane. But we'll see as the match goes on. If he makes a move and how he really gets his way to the pocket. So Belmo, if you watch this TV show, Belmo was the Belmo train going through his first 3 matches of this TV show. So you see he was averaging 230 through the first couple matches. So he definitely has the ball in his court, so to speak, in terms of, having the momentum to, get through this match. Flat 10 there, throwing a pitch black. So with that ball itself, it's not going to be like your typical reactive ball that EJ's throwing. It's going to be an earlier type of ball motion where, he wants it to start up earlier, because if it doesn't start up earlier, it's not going to corner down lane. But we'll see how that actually works out, because it actually gets pretty interesting with that ball being in his hand. What his ball reaction starts to look like. So we'll talk about that here shortly. And, with Belmo's, physical game, he is adding a little bit of loft to his shots, because remember, he's had 3 matches already. So he is breaking down that part of the lane to a point where the ball hooks so early that, he's not going to be able to get to the head pin. And if he moves left and opens up the launch angle, he's got that shape in his hand where it's not going to really allow him to open up the launch angle, because this pattern is not short by any means. So there isn't a lot of friction down lane. So he really needs to keep everything in front of him to get that ball to start up. So EJ, that shot was a little further right, blower 7 pin. Similar, type of shape that, we want to see, and then, just blower 7 pin. So obviously that is not where he wants to be in terms of how the ball is going through the pins. But much better shot. If I was EJ, I'd be pretty happy with that result. And then coming up here in the 3rd frame, I know exactly what I need to get done. And remember, EJ did come out of a practice session on this pair before the show started, but I can imagine that there's a little bit more nerves, a little bit more anxiety once you know that, hey, it's just you, the crowd's silent, and they're watching you throw the ball. So again, that one was a little tight. It was definitely not as open as the last one. But hey, didn't get the hit on the right lane, but definitely got the hit on the left lane. And, we'll talk about why all of this means something later on in the match. And it'll all make sense once we get to the end of the match and why these things really matter.
Awesome. I mean, a packed house every time.
So Belmo hooked early, 6-10. It did look like, to my eye, that he really hit up on that. So I'm curious to see what he actually does going on in the match. If he makes a move off that, or changes the release just a little bit, because that shot right there, like placement wise, was really, really good. So for him, and even if you're in this situation like this with throwing the pitch black or a similar type ball, maybe this is something to look for. Like, watch what these guys do, and try to emulate what they do. These guys are the best in the world for a reason. So if I'm seeing Belmo go high with a pitch black, maybe if I had a pitch black, I would do the same move that he does. By no means am I saying that I'm Belmo, because that is absolutely not the truth. But it allows you to really understand what these guys are doing, and you can implement that into your game. Good shot there by Belmo. Got that one off of the hand. Again, I didn't think the placement was that bad on the right lane. Just definitely hooked a lot. Good shot. See how that one ran over the 8-pin? Ran over the 8-pin. So that was a really good shot. Breakpoint was pretty similar to where he was the last shot on that lane. And got continued way better. And remember, he crumbled the bucket the last shot on this lane. So we'll see what he can do here. Not the greatest view, but if we looked at the Specto data, Specto data there, looks like it was similar to all the shots on the left lane. Just here we go. That's a good shot right there. See, that ball ran over the 9-pin, while the last one ran over the 8-pin. So we've got a little bit of difference between how these balls are going through the pins, and I believe honestly that's a function of where the ball is at the break point. So moving forward in the match, I'm curious to see if EJ tightens it up at the front part of the lane and keeps that same break point, or focuses on getting it to the right. Now I personally believe that he is trying to go with the first option, just tightening up in the front part of the lane, but we'll see as the match goes on. Little loft. Great shot. Great shot there. That was 1.5 boards further right at the break point there. So possibly getting away from that early friction, just getting it to the right. So, and remember that Belmo bowled 2 other righties before this. So there definitely is some traffic on the right side. So that bowling ball there is possibility for trouble, but again, he's Belmo. He's one of the best in the world. And I mean, EJ is going to have to deal with the same thing. So we're going to really, really see what these guys are made of in this match. Oh, that shot was dead aced. Dead aced. Look at this. I think they're actually going to talk about it. 7.0 at the breakpoint and 9.6 at the arrows relative to their ideal line. I would say that was a pretty good shot, if I do say so myself. Yep. So we're getting halfway through the match. Now, EJ is down. He's down by 12. And Belmo is striking, so let's see what EJ does here. Yeah, I think he's right there. He's pretty close on both lanes. So a little left at the arrows. Same position down lane. So to me, it looks like he slightly opened the launch angle up just a little bit. But then again, it's all like, these guys are great, but they're not going to hit the same tenth of a board every single time. So it could be relative to, just shot making or what. But these are things to think about. Like, watch how your ball goes through the pins. That is one of the most important things that you can implement into your game. Watch how your ball goes through the pins. You notice the last shot that EJ threw ran over the 8-pin. His last shot in the left lane ran over the 9-pin. So that shot, he probably made a little move, and that ran over the 9-pin. So he's watching all of these things to make sure that he is in the right part of the lane. Ball shape so much better on that lane for EJ. So much better. Ooh. Not physically the best shot we've ever seen Belmo throw, but for Belmo's sake, it's not a bad thing. And again, if you're in a situation like this where you're throw a bad shot and it strikes, that's okay. Like, if you can do that, it probably means you got the right ball in your hand. You get away with that 2 or 3 board miss. Take advantage and come back and throw a better shot the next time.
Second re-rack, 1 U.S. Open, 3 players, 4 Masters, 4 tournament champions.
Taking a re-rack just to settle down. I don't know for sure, but I wonder if it's just a function of not throwing that last shot the best. Just to regroup and just come up in this lane and throw a great shot. That was early. Oh my. But look at this. Look at this. Relative to the last shot, because I believe the ideal line was the exact same. Relative to the last shot, he missed a 10th of a board to the right. A 10th of a board. And trips the 4-pin. So it puts him in an interesting situation, having to finish on that lane. Having to finish on that lane, and you just trip a 4-pin. With, the pitch black. So he's not going to really be able to, say, hey, I'm going to make a 4-2 off of that and, strike. That's not really what I believe is going through his head. Dead ace. Dead ace shot there by EJ. So the last 6 frames of this match, are what, in my opinion, makes this possibly one of the best matches we've ever seen. Like, put yourself in EJ's shoes. Going into that frame, he was down 22. And not being able to miss is one position you really don't want to see yourself in, especially against Belmo. So, watching this, if EJ misses, the match is going in Belmo's direction. So he knows that these are must-strike situations, and it's incredible to watch. Little in. Just like we talked about. That shot right there is one that could have easily skewed this match in Belmo's direction. Let's back up just a little bit. I want you to look at this Specto data here. So that shot right there was a little left at the front part of the lane, so just over a half a board, and down lane it was just about a board to the left. So a little closed down. a little closed down. But you remember, the last shot on this lane, he ran over the 8-pin. Watch what it does here. Runs over the 9-pin. So just a little in causes that big of a difference in how the ball goes through the pins. So, with his power and his rev rate, he's able to take advantage of that half 10 and get out the 10 pin. But for someone like myself or really anyone else that doesn't have 500 rev rate with one hand, that 10 pin is probably standing 95% of the time. So Belmo, 3, 6, 10. I don't think he necessarily threw it bad. It looks like it was on line. Watch that shot again. Watch the spectator data specifically. No, actually, watch his ball motion. Watch how early the ball starts to hook. Right there. You can see, like, that ball was super early. And looking at the spectator data, it looked on line in the front part of the lane. So, he just went trip 4, 3, 6, 10. So, man. And we'll talk about this a little bit more before he steps up for his 10th frame. Clutch spare shooting. So going into this 10th frame, there is no way that Belmo can shut EJ out. But he can absolutely put the pressure on EJ. And again, it's not going to be easy because remember, his last shot in this lane was trip 4. So he knows he cannot throw it in the same spot again. But he needs to strike. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and pause it just for a second. We'll back it up. So I think for me, in this situation, because the ball hooks so early, I personally would make a 1-and-1 to the left. That allows me to get into more oil, but it allows me not to open the launch angle up, because opening the launch angle up would, send the ball further to the right because I'm right-handed and not recover. And remember earlier in the match, he missed by quite a bit to the left and it just sat there. So, it's there, but some things you have to think about. But in Belmo's defense, his rev rate is considerably higher. It's like 100 higher than mine, and quite a bit higher than, the typical bowler. But he's able to manipulate a bowling ball in a way that most people can't. So I would not be surprised if he does slightly open the launch angle up to, get it further to the right. So we'll see. We'll see what he does here. You see that right there? He's talking to himself. Positive self-talk. Positive self-talk. So open slightly more. Slightly more open. Just a little bit. Not a lot. Slightly more open. Does still trip a 4-pin. Does still trip the 4-pin. And again, like what I was talking about with the moves, you have to think about you as a player and what you are capable of. Belmo is capable of moving left with this ball and being able to recover. A typical person probably isn't able to do that. Let's see what he does here. Little move. Same shot. Ooh. Same shot. And you saw him right there? Little move. This is why he's the best in the world. Little move. Open up the launch angle a little bit. And he's right there. And look at him like getting animated. I love it. I love it. He's letting EJ know what's going on. It's not meant to be malicious. It's not meant to, hurt. But he's a competitor. We're all competitors. If you're watching this video, in some way, shape, or form, you are a competitor. You just got to get hyped up sometimes. I love it. I love getting animated like that. So this shot right here is massive. Getting 9 here allow EJ to go. Oh, Randy's talking about it. Allows EJ to go 9 spare, or excuse me, strike 9 spare to tie if he gets 9. But a strike makes EJ have to double in the 10th. So lots riding on this shot here. That was further in. And you can see that there was definitely a limit of how far left he could get. That was 1.3 boards further left of the last shot and was nowhere close to looking as good. So, massive break. I mean, hey, I can't imagine that's how he intended it looking, but a strike's a strike. So EJ's in the position where he needs to double to win, just like the title said there. Good shot. And I can't say for sure, but I would imagine that there is one thing that EJ is focusing on there, and that is it. Just trusting himself to throw a good shot. So, for example, he could just be focus on posting it or hitting the release. In that position, there's really nothing else that you can really do. Just a little light mixer there. So it all comes down to this. This is the position that every bowler wants to be in. So I'm going to pause it here for just a second. This is the position that everybody wants to be in, having to strike to win, let alone having to strike to win a world championship, a major. So just try to put yourself in this situation in how you would deal with it. So not striking here is the difference between $100,000 and $55,000 and a major title. I can't imagine being in this situation, but these tour guys are so mentally tough where they're going to be nervous, but this is what they think about when they're sleeping. Just making millions of reps and getting to this point to be able to strike for a world championship. I mean, it's unbelievable. Just think about that. And how are you going to get mentally tougher to possibly be in this situation? Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most clutch performances that I've ever seen. Struck when it absolutely mattered. So we're so proud of EJ, so happy for EJ. We love that he is on Team CTD, and just absolutely amazing performance. And I also want to point out right here, Belmo in this situation. He just lost $45,000 and a major title, but to be there ready to congratulate EJ is such a high-class move. So props to Belmo for that, and just another reason why he is one of the best in the world, alongside Mr. EJ Tackett. So we appreciate you watching. Let us know what you thought of this video. Something different for us, more of a long-form, just watch the match kind of video. So let us know. If you're interested in joining Team CTD, you can do so on ctdbowling.com. I am Dustin Zahner with Creating the Difference. Have a great day.